Om Sadashivasamārambhām Shankaracharya-madhyamām Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. So we were looking at the Bhashya of the 10th Vakya in the 4th Brahmana of the first chapter. We saw that how the Upanishad has answered the question which was raised in the previous Vakya. Kimutat Brahma Aved Tasmat Tat Sarvam Abhavat. That was the question. So what did this Brahman know by which it became everything? It got rid of its own limitations. Means that has been answered. Brahmava idam agre asit. Brahman alone was there, but it was in an ignorant state first. And then how did it become enlightened? What did it know? It knew itself. Tad atmanam eva avet. Brahman knew only itself. And then what happened? In fact, how did it know itself? In what manner? Aham Brahmasmi iti. I am the limitless Brahman. That's how Brahman knew itself. And then what was the result of that? Therefore, it became everything. Tasmat tat sarvam abhavat. So the Brahma Vidya as a sadhana is shown here very clearly, and moksha as the sadhya. So Brahma Vidya is the means, and freedom from all limitations, becoming everything, is the result of this knowledge. So this has been very clearly shown. Now Shruti further goes and talks about certain things very interesting. We can go back to the Shruti Vakya once again and see what it is saying. Yo yo devanam pratyabudhyata sayeva tad abhavat tatha rishinam tatha manushyanam. So amongst the devas also, whoever knew like this, they also became everything, like whatever was said here, correct? Atmanam eva avet aham brahmasmiti. In the same manner, whoever amongst the devas knew, they became everything. Similarly, amongst rishis and also amongst human beings. Now, this is the part Bhashyakara is going to comment now. So, tatra yo devanam pratyabudhyata pratibuddhavan. Pratyabudhyata means he is giving the meaning. Pratibuddhavan. So, the one who knew amongst the devas, yo devana means amongst the devas, whoever knew in the same manner, correct? Yathoktena vidina, as it has been told, whoever has understood his swarupa, one's own nature properly as limitless Brahman, that person, okay, sayeva pratyabudhyata, and that person alone has known it. See here, this evakara, he alone has known. The one who has known in the way it has been revealed here. In the same manner, one has to know about oneself. None of the other knowledge, any objective knowledge is not going to help you. Even saying that I saw Ishvara or knowing Ishvara as another object of your knowledge is not going to help you. You have to know Ishvara as yourself. That alone will help here, correct? No other way you can know. So the evakara is very important here. you have to know, and knowledge alone can make you into Brahman. Tad Brahma abhavat. That person also becomes Brahman, limitless. So here one more point is pointed out by the Tikakara. Interesting point he says, which is that why this Shruti is talking about Devas also knowing. That is because normally if you look at the Veda, the Karma Kanda of the Veda is talking about all types of fire rituals. Okay. Now the Adhikari, the one who is qualified to do all that, are typically human beings. And also there are other qualifications are also given there. Whoever is desire of a particular thing, and whoever is of a particular ashrama, correct? A brahmachari cannot do all the karma. You always have to be a grihastha, a householder. Your wife has to come and actually give permission to you. With your wife's permission only you can do the karma. Okay? Like that, there are so many rules are there as who is qualified to do the karma. But with reference to knowledge, this self-knowledge, what is the qualification? Those things are all not the qualification. To attain the results of this self-knowledge and even to gain self-knowledge, the only qualification is that you should have sadhana chatushtaya. You should be qualified to receive this knowledge, and whoever receives this knowledge will also get the phala. There is no other qualifications required. So that's why the Devas are also now pointed out here. Devas also who knew in the same manner, they attained the same moksha. Okay. But they have to know in the manner in which it was revealed here. Okay, that is important. And knowledge alone is enough. Okay. You don't have to do anything. After knowing, you don't have to do anything. Knowledge alone is good enough. As soon as you know, it's fine. Everything is fine. You don't have to do anything more than knowing. After knowing also, you don't have to do some karma. Because typically, there are people called Samuchayavadim. Jnana karma samuchaya, they say. Knowing alone is not enough. After knowing, you have to do something. Now, Shankara is trying to say those things are also now clearly negated by the Shruti itself, because Shruti is saying, you know, and then by knowing alone you have become everything. You have become the limitless. So, Sayeva Pratyabuddha, Pratibuddha, Atma, Tat Brahma Bhavat. So, the one who knew this Atma, its real nature, that person alone has become everything. Knowing alone is good enough. You don't have to do anything more. So this is with reference to the Devas. But not only the Devas. Tatha Rishina. Similarly, it is for Rishis also. And not only the Rishis, Tatha Manushyana cha madhye, even amongst the human beings, it is the same thing. Now here, Bhashyakara is making a very interesting note. So there can be a doubt that Brahman is the one which is there, correct? Even before knowing also we are Brahman only. After knowing also we are Brahman. So then why are you now talking about Devas knowing and all that? Brahman entered the world. Brahman was ignorant. Brahman knew itself. Brahman became everything. Then why are you talking about the Devas, Rishis, Manushya, etc.? There can be a doubt like that. Because Brahman alone is there really. So from the Paramartha Drishti, from the ultimate reality, from that standpoint, we cannot talk about Devas or Manushyas or anybody knowing anything really. So whenever we are talking about different people gaining this knowledge, it is always from the transactional standpoint only. From the standpoint of Vyavahara. It is a Vyavaharika. we say. From the relative standpoint only, we can talk about that. So here also, already it was shown that Brahman entered, and Brahman entered all the bodies we have to take, correct? When it said that it is entered, it is available in the buddhi of all the beings. It is available in all the Sukshma Sharira. Therefore, when we talk about both bondage and this freedom, bandha and moksha, it is only with reference to the particular Sukshma Sharira only. Brahman, which is conditioned by that particular subtle body, by that body mind sense complex, gains this knowledge. That's how we have to understand. The Brahman conditioned by a particular body mind sense complex only was bound. The Brahman conditioned by that particular body mind sense complex only knew itself as Brahman, the limitless, thereby becoming free of the body mind sense complex itself, because that identification with the body mind sense complex alone is the problem. That is the ignorance, in fact. So Bhashyakara says here, Devanam iti loka drishti apekshaya na brahmatva buddhya uchyate. So when we say this devas knew, or whoever amongst the devas knew, we are only talking about Brahman, obviously, but conditioned by the upadhi, conditioned by the conditioning factors like the body mind sense complex. So it is from that standpoint only, loka drishtya, it is from the relative standpoint, from a transactional reality only we are talking about, not from the absolute standpoint. Absolute standpoint, Brahman alone is there, and Brahman cannot be either ignorant nor it can know anything, or it doesn't have any need to know anything. It is always Chaitanya Swarupa, it is always of the nature of consciousness. It doesn't have any ignorance, in fact. It is neither ignorant nor knowledgeable. Brahman is as it is. So from that standpoint, this is not being talked about. So he makes it clear, and he further explains that. He says that, see, Puraha, before, Purusha avishaditi sarvatra brahmaiva anupravishtam iti avochama. So in 147, it was pointed out that Brahman alone entered this Srishti. There was undifferentiated causal state was there, that became differentiated into Nama Rupa Karma, it was said. It became differentiated into names, forms and action. And then Brahman entered there in the form of each and every individual being. So this was pointed out already. Brahma eva anupravishtam. Brahman alone entered, and again the meaning also was given for that. Entry means really it is not that something is not there in one place and then it entered like that. Because Brahman being limitless, you can never say that it was not present in some place and then it entered there. The meaning of entry is that it is available there. Because if we say somebody entered the room, then that person is available in that room. Here also that is the meaning. So the Brahman entered and it is available. And that availability also is again with reference to only the conditioning factors. So he says, so we told that Brahman entered into each and every being. And then what? Ataha shariradi upadi janita loka drishti apekshaya devanam ityadi iti uchyate ityadi uchyate devanam ityadi, because devanam, rishinam, manushyanam is there. So therefore he says, therefore only with reference to the conditioning factors like the body, etc., from the relative standpoint only this is being said. Okay, that devas, rishis and all the human beings, whoever amongst them also knows in this manner, they also become everything. But in reality what? Paramarthataha tu, from the absolute standpoint, okay, tatra tatra brahmaiva agra asit. In fact, every Whenever every being says I, that I really only refers to Brahman. Brahman alone is there as the conscious being everywhere. So Brahman alone is there. Brahma eva agra asit prak pratibodhat. Even before this knowledge happened, even before this enlightenment, Brahman alone was there. Okay, in the Devadi Shariresh, amongst the Devas, whichever beings you take, whether it is Deva, whether it is Manushya, whoever you take, even before this knowledge took place, Brahman alone was there. But only thing is what? Anyatha eva vibhavyamanam. But it was looked upon as something different. That was the problem. Oneself was looked upon as different from all other things. But it's only an appearance. So, that being the case, from that standpoint, what tat atmanam eva avet, it knew itself correctly now, one's own nature, it knew itself. And therefore, what tatha eva cha sarvam abhavat. So, thereafter it became everything. That asarvatvam is only ignorance. Taking oneself as a limited individual is itself ignorance, and that ignorance, once it is gone, then that particular being has become everything by knowing oneself as Brahman. So like this has been pointed out from a relative standpoint. Now, Shruti again talks about a very interesting story, you can say, or it makes a reference. What is that? Tad dhaitat pashyan rishihi vamadevaha pratipede aham manuhu abhavam suryascheti. So this is the part now Bhashyakara is commenting. So this Rishi Vamadeva, he also knew himself as Brahman. And then what did he say? Knowing oneself as Brahman, he further knew. What did he know? He knew that I was Manu and Surya also. That means he is everything. So like this is a quotation. Aham manurabhavam suryascheti. This is a mantra. So he knew this like this. This is only to show the results of Brahma Vidya, to actually reveal it without any doubts, firm revelation. So that's what Bhashyakara is saying here. So, asyaha Brahma Vidyayaha sarvabhava apattihi phalam. So this Brahma Vidya's result, phalam is what? Sarvabhava apattihi, the gaining of the status of being everything. Essentially, you are limitless. So that is the gaining of one's own limitlessness purely in terms of knowledge. That is the result of this Brahma Vidya. Okay. Ityasya arthasya dradhimne mantran udaharati Shruti. So Shruti is now showing one example. Okay. To make this point very clear, to firmly establish that the results of Brahma Vidya is limitlessness, is the gain of being everything. To firmly establish that, Shruti is now quoting something, it is showing an example. Okay. So how is it showing now? Katham tad brahma yetad atmanam eva tad dhaitat, like that is there, correct? So tat there means Brahma, yetad means this. Is this Atma, that Brahman is this Atma. Okay, Atmanam eva aham asmi. So this Atma, I am, is that Brahman alone. iti pashyan, thus seeing, thus knowing clearly. Etasmadeva brahmanaha darshanat. So by seeing this Brahman alone as oneself, Rishihi Vamadevakyaha, a rishi named Vamadeva, Pratipede, further knew. Okay, it was revealed to him, you can say. Ha Pratipannavan kila. Pratipede, ha means the ha is a particle. It is just to show that it happened in the past. Pratipannavan, okay, he gained or he got this knowledge. Having known oneself as Brahman, he further knew something. What is that? Sa etasmin Brahmatma darshane avastitaha. So being established in this Brahmatma darshana means what? In this knowledge that myself is Brahman, being established in that knowledge, he saw this mantra. Etan mantran dadarsha. So he saw this mantra. And what is that? Aham manuhu abhavam suryascha ityadin. So there is a mantra. Aham manur abhavam suryascha. I was Manu and Surya also. Like this mantra, this Rishi Vamadeva, he saw this mantra. This mantra was revealed to him when he was established in this knowledge that myself is Brahman. This mantra got revealed to him. Okay, like this. That means that the implication of that mantra is he understood that he is everything. Sarvam abhavat. That is the implication. That is what is revealed by that mantra itself. So now Bhashyakara explains that further. Tad etad brahma pashyan iti brahma vidya paramrishyate. So when it says tad ha etad pashyan means he knew this Atma as that Brahman. When that is being said by the Shruti, Brahma Vidya is being referred to. Brahma Vidya paramrishyate. Brahma Vidya is indicated by that part of the sentence. Then Aham Manur Abhavam Suryascha Ityadina Sarva Bhavat Apattim Brahma Vidya Phalam Paramrishati. Then from the portion Aham Manur Abhavam Suryascha Ityadina, by that portion of the sentence, Sarva Bhava Apattim, the gaining of being everything, the gain of being everything, which is the result of this knowledge of Brahman, Brahma Vidya Phalam, that is being referred to by that part of the sentence. Now here, so the Brahma Vidya is also referred to, indicated. Then what is the result of this Brahma Vidya also is very clearly shown by the Shruti. So, Pashyan Sarvatma Bhavam Phalam Pratipede. So, the idea here is what? Pashyan means seeing, he became everything, correct? Seeing, he got the result of that seeing or knowing. Seeing here is really knowing. Knowing, he became everything. That's how the sentence is structured, correct? So, Bhashyakara is now making it very clear that knowing alone is enough, correct? You don't require anything more. While knowing only, you become everything. You don't require anything other than knowledge. Knowing, you become everything. Pashyan sarvatma bhavam phalam pratipede iti asmat prayogat. So by having this kind of a sentence here, okay, so what Shruti is doing, Brahma Vidya Sahaya Sadhana Sadhyam Moksham Darshayeti. So it is showing to us, what is it showing? That moksha, this freedom from all limitations, is achievable, sadhyam. Okay, it is the end. And what is the means for that? The means is you take the help of Brahma Vidya Sahaya Sadhanam, Sadhana Sadhyam. So this end, which is moksha, which is freedom from all limitations, is attained with the help of this knowledge of Brahman as the means. Is that clear? So like that it is pointing out, and it is similar to what? Bunjanas tripyati iti yadvat. It is similar to saying, eating, he became satisfied. Someone became satisfied. Eating, he is satisfied means what? Eating alone has made him satisfied. Correct? There is nothing else to be done after eating. While eating only, that person is satisfied because before that he was hungry. And eating, he became satisfied because he has to say enough. Correct? At some point in time, see, that's why traditionally this annadanam, donating food, is considered to be one of the best kind of dana. Why? Because if you give money, nobody will say alam, enough. You can keep on giving. It is like fire. You put any amount of fuel into it, it's not going to say enough. That is why it is called analaha. Alam means enough in Sanskritam. Why is fire is called anal or analaha? Means it never says enough, it seems. How much ever fuel you give, it keeps on taking it. It will not say enough. That's why fire is called analaha. But coming to this danam, similarly, danam also you give anything else, people will not be satisfied. They will say, okay, he could have given some 100 rupees more and all that. Correct? But food is not like that. You give food, at some point he has to say enough. I can only eat so much. Correct? So that's why you can satisfy somebody by giving food. Particularly a hungry person can be satisfied by giving food. And the fact that you are able to satisfy somebody by your own dana is looked upon as something very, it's looked upon as something which you can do. Correct? Completely. All other things can be incomplete. So this is the only thing, that way this dana, annadana is praised like that. In that only somebody is totally satisfied. They will say enough at some point. Like that here, bhunjanas tripyati, while the eater is satisfied. Bhunjanaha means the one who is eating. While eating only, that person becomes satisfied. Similarly, knowing, you get the result of Brahma Vidya. You don't have to do anything more. That is the important point. Why Bhashyakara is again and again pointing this out? Because during his time, the main opponents were all these karmatas. Those who were saying that moksha is attained only through karma, or even the others who said that you have to know and still do something. Modern Vedanta is mostly like that. Modern Vedanta also is somewhat karma, this jnana karma samuchaya, only because they say Vedanta is only a book. It is like a guide, Google map. By looking at the Google map, you cannot reach somewhere. But it's a wrong example, understand? Because only accomplishing the unaccomplished, what they say is correct. Because for every karma, if karma is a means, you have to first to know how to do that karma. Knowledge is involved. But knowing the karma alone will not give you the karma phala, correct? Because what you are trying to accomplish is unaccomplished. Like going to a place, you can say that you have to know how to go to that place from Google Map, and then actually do that, correct? You have to do the travel. Then only you will reach there. That is because it is accomplishing the unaccomplished. But here, moksha is not accomplishing the unaccomplished. Moksha is accomplishing the accomplished. Here the only problem is ignorance. Whatever is already accomplished, that's what was shown here also, correct? Loka drishtya and all that. Because even before you know, prak pratipodat, Brahma eva agra asit. You are already Brahman only. Even whether you know or not, you are Brahman. But the problem is you don't know that fact. And what is the solution? To know, that's all. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do any some Shirasasana or something after knowing. Understand that. Knowledge alone is enough. So that's why he is giving this bhunjanas tripyati iti yadvat. Like the one who is eating is satisfied. Okay, Seyam Brahma Vidyaya Sarva Bhava Apattihi Asin Mahatam Devadinam Virya Atishayat. Okay, this is one of another very interesting note. Bhashyakara is giving very, very relevant to everybody. Every student of Vedanta has to read this part. Okay. So what he is saying is this Brahma Vidya, Sarva Bhava Apattihi Asit. So this, by this Brahma Vidya, you gain everything. You gain the status of being everything. And this is only possible for Devas or great people, because they have great powers. Okay, Devadinam Virya Atishayat. So they have special powers. They are all great beings. Therefore, they knew themselves and became limitless. What about me? I am a puny guy. I am a sinner. Even if you don't think you are a sinner, there are people, theologies are there which come and say, just because you are born as a human being, you are a sinner. You cannot escape it unless you believe me. So even the guy who is innocent, he doesn't think himself as sinner or anything. He is just leading his life, normal guy. But then there are people who come and say, no, you are sinner, you will go to hell. You put the fear of hell in that guy. Make the fellow frightened. And then say, no, now if you follow me, you can go to heaven. If you believe in me, I am the only path also. Okay. You have no other way. So like this, there are theologies are there which can come and frighten you. Anyway, but the general problem is what? People have a very low opinion about themselves. There is always a inferiority complex is there. In fact, inferiority complex only also shows up as some kind of a superiority complex, because some people, due to their own inferiority, also try to show others in a bad light always. Thereby they feel a little better, I think. So either they feel inferiority and because of that they are very timid, they don't think they are good for anything, and they don't make the right effort. All that is one problem. Another set also is having inferiority complex, but that is manifest in a different manner. That is manifest in a way that they are always trying to put the other guy down. Therefore, they feel a little better, I think. Whichever way it is. So you don't have a very good opinion about yourself. That itself is a problem. That is the biggest obstacle for Brahma Vidya. So you think that all these people, Ramana is a great Maharishi, let him be a Maharishi, that's fine, we can do Namaskara. Or some X and Y is a great person, he is doing all miracles, fine, let him do miracles. How does that miracle help you anyway? Let us say you have some problem, somebody miraculously helped you also, but still you are the same human being. It has not solved your fundamental problem, correct? Unless the Shastra is taught to you, it's not really going to help you. You still remain the same jiva. Is that clear? And as long as you have a certain complex psychologically, it is very difficult to, because any psychological complex only reinforces your limited individuality. So it's very difficult to see oneself as mithya, one's individuality as mithya, particularly, correct? I shouldn't say oneself, one's individuality. You have to look at it for what it is. But if that individuality is reinforced all the time due to some psychological complexes and issues, then it cannot that easily go away. It's very difficult. So here, one of the wrong notions is that to look upon others or devas and all are saying that they have special powers, they are all special beings somehow, and they can know, they can have this self-knowledge. I cannot have. Okay? One should not think like that. That thinking itself is a problem. In fact, it should be the other way around. If the other person can know, why cannot I also achieve that? At least I have to make an effort, correct? If my guru knows and he is able to communicate it, then why should I not know it? I can keep my guru in a do namaskara, show my respect, the attitude towards have a complex that I am not good enough. My guru is a great man, so he became enlightened. But I am not like that. I cannot become enlightened. That thought need not be there. Everybody is unique in this world. Nobody is greater than somebody else, nor we are any less. Correct? Each of us, we are unique in our own ways. And we all have the capacity to know. We all have the same fundamental problems. And we can become qualified for this knowledge with some effort. That effort may vary. What kind of effort we put in varies. But that doesn't mean that you are any less qualified to know this knowledge. Everybody who puts in the right effort with the right attitude will become a jnani, has to get, because it's a pramana vyapara. Understand this. When the pramana operates, when the means of knowledge operates, and the thing to be known is also available, knowledge has to take place. The only impediment here is whether the knower is qualified or not. But once the knower also is qualified, knowledge will take place. It is not, your will has no role to play here. Understand that. Knowledge is not Purusha Tantra, it is always Vastu Tantra, we say. Knowledge is not dependent on the person. Karma is not like that. Karma is always dependent on the person. It is Purusha Tantra. I can do it, I need not do it, I can do it differently. But with reference to knowledge, once the knower, known, and the means of knowledge are aligned, knowledge has to take place. Your will has no role to play. You cannot know a pot as a plate, correct? You cannot willfully know pot as a plate. It doesn't make sense. Knowledge has to be true to the object of knowledge. And you have to know it as it is. And once you have come to a traditional guru and you are exposed to the Shastra, means this means of knowledge is operating. And the thing to be known is also not somewhere in the next galaxy or anything, correct? It is yourself. It is always available. Self is always available. There is no problem of the object being not available for knowledge. Self is always available. Means of knowledge is operating. It is only a question of oneself getting prepared for this knowledge. And once you make the right effort, you will know. Anybody who is exposed to this Shastra, who is exposed to the teaching, cannot say that I don't know myself. Correct? That much first it has to come. Whether that knowledge is always available to you, that's a different question. That assimilation takes time. Any insight has to be repeated. There's no doubt about that. But once you know this clearly, once you are exposed to the teaching, and once you cannot say anymore that I do not know myself, then you are a jnani. There is no doubt about that. You have got the jnanam. Afterwards, it's okay. Time is not a big deal. You can make some effort to assimilate and own up this knowledge. Because the teaching is you are Brahman as you are. You don't have to become Brahman, or you don't have to become somebody else to become Brahman or anything. Because there are other notions are also there. If I am Brahman, if I am limitless, if I am jnani, why I do not have this power or that power, or why I am not famous, why I am not having money, why I am not like this other person. Why should you worry about all that? If you know yourself, you are a jnani. That's all. There is no other factor involved in that. Understand that. And nobody else can also know whether you are a jnani or not. Only you know that. So another problem is, if I am a jnani, why others are not respecting me? Where is the question of even others? If you are really a jnani, it's not a question of worrying about any more validation from others and all that. You understand? That is another psychological problem. Always seeking validation from others. That is a big thing. Because as a child, if you are not loved and if you are not given praise, you are not praised, let us say, and made to feel loved and valuable, correct? You must be valued by your parents, by your teachers, by your whoever is their relatives, let us say. If you are not valued and you do not think that you are worth something, then that's a big problem. Once you become adult also, the childhood problem will never go. You are all the time seeking only validation from others. And the one who is seeking the validation is only the individual limited being that will keep on getting reinforced again. As long as you are seeking validation, you are the limited individual. The same child is still there. That has to be resolved. So some amount of psychological resolution has to take place. Some effort has to go into that direction, no doubt. But whatever knowledge you are gaining also will help you in all that, or it should help. Okay, so this process of assimilation, it will take time, no doubt about that. But all these things should not make you think that somehow I am not good enough. If you are the limitless, what is the point then? You don't have to worry about being good enough or anything. You are the limitless, in fact. You have to only own it up to that. So this knowledge is there. The means of knowledge is operating. The thing to be known is yourself, which is available all the time. And it is being revealed to you who you are. You have to only see yourself in the light of the Guru's words and whatever his Shastra is saying. And not other obstacles and all, you need not let that interfere. Okay. So that process, once it takes place, then you are a jnani. You have to own it up to that. You should not think that only great people can become jnani and all that. Everybody is a great person only. You are all limitless. That means you are great. You don't have to worry about others. Everything is only upadhi vishesha. All other things are only upadhi vishesha. It's all only some conditioning factor, correct? How does it matter whether there is a big part or a small part or anything? Everything is clay. As clay, you are clay, correct? How does it matter whether the pot is big or small, wave is big or small? Whether one thing is ocean, another is wave, nothing matters. Everything is water. So that is the drishti. So you don't have to think that you have alpa virya. I have only limited power. So that's what he's pointing out here. See, Mahatam Virya Atishaya Devadinam. So Devas have great Virya. Okay. Therefore what? Na idanim aidam yuginanam. This also he says. See, another problem is people say that, okay, in Satya Yuga, great rishis were there. They had great powers. Now it is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, no chance. People are all hopeless. Okay, don't worry. Bhashyakara says, Aidam Yuginanam. This Yuga, whoever is there right now in this Yuga, whatever Yuga it is, okay, Visheshataha Manushyana, especially human beings, okay, what Alpa Viryatva, if you have, because they have only limited powers. Like this, if you think, okay, Na Idanim, Aidam Yuginana means, for Devas it is possible, but it is not possible for those who are living in the current times, because they have only alpa virya, limited powers. Like this, some people think Bhashyakara says, iti syat kasyachit buddhihi. So there is a certain notion like this. There is a certain idea that only devas who have great powers can have this knowledge, but not human being, particularly during this yuga, during the current times. They all cannot know this. This is some great mystic knowledge. It cannot be achieved by all these normal human beings. Like this, there is a notion. Therefore, what does Shruti do? Tad vithapanaya aha. To remove that wrong notion, Shruti is saying what? Tad idam prakritam brahma yat sarva bhuta anupravishtam drishti kriyadi lingam etarhi etasminnapi vartamana kale yaha kaschit vyavritta bahya outsukya atmanam eva evam veda aham brahmasmi iti. Okay, I'll stop here because it's going, too many things are there. So what, to remove these wrong notions, okay, what tadidam prakritam brahma, this, that Brahman which is under discussion, and also what kind of Brahman it is, yet sarva bhuta anupravishtam, which has entered into all the beings, okay, dishti kriyadi lingam, also which is the one which is indicated by all the activities which are happening. All activities of all your sense organs and mind are happening in whose presence? That Brahman. Etarhi, and this, right now, what is that? Etasminnapi vartamana kale, at this time also, during the current times. Yaha kaschit, the one who knows what? How does he know? Vyavritta bahya outsukya, keeping away all the external things. Okay, because if you are too much indulged in sense objects, if your sense organs are only going after sense objects, that is only going to reinforce your limitation, because you are different from the sense objects you are going after. You are a limited, wanting, lacking person who is going after sense objects which are different from you. So this whole thing is only reinforcing your own limited individuality and your own difference from everything else, and it will make you puny because the whole world is so big compared to you. But one has to come out of that, keeping external things external. Okay, Atmanam eva, and knowing oneself alone. Atmanam eva evam veda, in this manner the one who knows. So even during the current times, one who knows oneself as aham brahmasmi iti, I am the limitless Brahman. One who knows like that, what happens? Apohya upadhi janita pranti vijnana adhyaropita and adhyaropitan. Okay, so upadhi janita bhranti vijnana adhyaropitan apohya. So all this superimposed notions, correct, which is all delusional, in fact, bhranti vijnana, born out of delusion, all these superimpositions on oneself, all the wrong notions which are superimposed on oneself due to delusion, and which are also which are born due to the conditioning factors. That means what? You take your body as I, then you superimpose all the body's quality on I. You take your sense organs as I, you superimpose all the qualities of the sense organs on yourself. You take yourself as the mind, you superimpose all the qualities of the mind on yourself and then suffer. And this is all because the conditioning factor only. All these delusional, wrong notions which you have superimposed on yourself is born out of all these conditioning factors, giving up all these things. Okay, so adhyaropitan visheshan, all the qualities which are superimposed due to the delusional knowledge or delusional ignorance, we have to say, born out of all these conditioning factors, you give up. Then what? Samsara dharma Anagandhitam. So this Brahman, which is not even having a whiff of this samsara, it seems. Okay, it has nothing. No, anagandhita means even a small whiff or that fragrance itself does not reach Brahman, it seems. Not even a whiff of samsara, this becoming life, in any quality of this samsara is not there in Brahman. Anagandhitam. Agandhitam, sorry, not anagandhitam. Dharman agandhitam. Anantaram. Abahyam. Okay, that means what? Anantaram means it's not inside. Abahyam means it's not outside. Means it is spatially, it transcends space. It is neither inside nor outside. Means what? It transcends space. In fact, space is in which Brahman. Brahmaiva aham asmi, that Brahman which has transcended the space. Aham asmi kevalam iti. So the one who has known that Brahman as oneself, that Brahman alone as oneself, correct? Kevalam. I am the only one who really exists. I am the only infinite reality who gives existence to everything which is there here. Like that, the one who has known. Saha avidya krita asarvatva nivrittehe. And for that person, what? That person, saha, all this limitations, asarvatvam, is limitations, not being all, which is again born out of ignorance. So this asarvatvam, being limited, thinking that one is limited, in fact I have to say, this wrong notion that one is limited, which is born out of ignorance, that goes away, nivrittehe. When it goes away, what happens? Brahma Vijnanat idam sarvam bhavati. Due to this knowledge of Brahman, that person becomes everything. So essentially, even during this time, current times, normal human beings, but one who has chosen to know, one who has analyzed all the results of action and gained a certain dispassion, knowing that any accomplishment I do in this world is not going to make me limitless. So the one who has withdrawn himself from external pursuits and only pursues the knowledge of oneself as the limitless, that person, knowing oneself as the limitless Brahman, and his ignorance with reference to himself is now gone. Himself, herself, oneself is totally gone. And only due to ignorance, the notion that I am a limited being is there. And once that ignorance is gone, you are the limitless Brahman alone, and you are everything. So like that, this can happen even now. You don't have to think that only great people, great rishis, maharishis. Nowadays, everybody takes the title of maharishi. That's a different thing. Or whether that person himself calls himself maharishi or not, the followers give titles for everybody. So you don't have to think that only such people can know. Whoever makes the effort, whoever has the right attitude, whoever has done the right analysis and has a certain dispassion, and whoever has recognized one's fundamental problem, I should say. So to recognize one's fundamental problem as a human being, one has to be an accomplished person and also should see the limitations of one's own accomplishments. That will lead one to do better analysis and arrive at the conclusion that the problem is centered on me. The solution also has to be centered on me. If the problem is me, solution also has to be me. It cannot be found anywhere else. If the problem is I, solution also has to be on that I only. Okay. So that is the crux here. Anybody can have this knowledge Only thing is you have to expose yourself to the teaching. You have to allow the pramana to operate. The means of knowledge should operate. The thing to be known is always there. If you prepare yourself and allow the means of knowledge to operate, knowledge will take place. And if knowledge is there, the result of that knowledge also will be there immediately. You don't have to do anything else. Okay, that's what Bhashyakara is pointing out. Further what? Nahi Mahaviryeshu Vamadevadishu Hina Viryeshu va Vartamanikeshu Manusyeshu Brahmanaha Visheshaha Tad Vijnanasya va Asti. So Bhashyakara again gives a clear note here. He says, whether you say Vamadeva is a great person, he had great powers, because he is supposed to have gained this Brahma Vidya when he was in the womb itself. Okay, as soon as he gained Brahma Vidya in the womb as a fetus, and then he was born as a jnani. While he was born only, he was already a jnani. Like that is the story is there. So he is a great person. He had great powers and all that. Let it be. Now you have only limited powers. Hina Viryeshu. Okay, current Vartamanikeshu means those who are there currently. Vamadeva was there in the past. And Vamadeva had great powers. He became a Brahmajnani while in the womb and he was born as a Jnani. Our case is not like that. We have only limited powers and we live in the current times. Human beings. But even then what? Brahmanaha Visheshaha Tad Vijnanasya va Asti. You are still Brahman only. Even right now, even during this time, all beings are Brahman only. So there is no difference in that. Nor there is any difference in knowing this Brahman. If you know this Brahman, you will also have the same result. And you are also equally qualified to know this Brahman. With reference to Brahman or its knowledge, there is no Vishesha, there is no difference or speciality between those who were there before, who had great powers, and those who are there right now, who do not have such great powers, but still with reference to Brahman and its knowledge, we are all the same only. Okay. Vartamanikeshu Purusheshu tu Brahma Vidya Phale Anaikantikata Shankate Ityaha. But still what? There is doubt. Some people have doubt with reference to the people who are there currently. Vartamanikeshu Purusheshu tu Brahma Vidya Phale. Even if I know this, will I get this result? There is still some doubt. Okay, Brahma Vidya Phale Anaikantikata. Anaikantikata means there is no Nischaya. Okay, Ekantika means this is the thing, like that. It is very clear. It is ascertained, this is this. Anaikantikata means you don't know, is this or is this that? So there is some doubt with reference to Brahma Vidya Phala. Okay, Brahma Vidya everybody can gain. But even if I gain this knowledge, will I become limitless? Will I have this result? There is some doubt. What if somebody comes and stops me from gaining this knowledge? Or I gain the knowledge, but somebody stops me from gaining the result of the knowledge. Is it possible? Means that also is not possible. Why? Bhashyakara. Tasyaha Brahma Vijñatuhu Yathoktena Vidhina Deva Mahaviryaha Chana Api. So, okay, that Chana and all is there in the original Vakya. Chana means Api also. So, the one who has known this Brahman, okay, in the manner which was shown here, Yathoktena Vidhina, in the same manner as it was shown here, and with reference to him, even Devaha who have great powers, even Devas who have great powers also, Chana Api, Abhutyai, Abhavanaya, Brahma Sarva Bhavasya means Abhutyai is there in the original Upanishad Vakya. Abhavanaya is the meaning Bhashyakara is giving for that. Means even the Devas cannot stop you from attaining this Sarva Bhava. Okay, this Brahma Bhava, they neshate means na paryaptaha. Even they do not have the powers to stop you. Once you know this Brahman, you will become everything. Okay, nobody can stop you. Even the Devas who have great powers cannot stop you. They cannot stop you from enjoying the results of this knowledge. you will always get it. Kimuta anye, then what about others? Nobody can stop you. That means you know this and you gain the results of that also. And even for knowing, you don't have to think that you are any less or anything. As long as you are a human being and you have the right attitude and you have the right means of knowledge, you will become a jnani. There is no doubt in that. That's what is pointed out here. The rest of the things we'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರು.